When we first got married, I couldn't sell in any job, and finally I got a job at High Edison Power Plant. Great job, 8 to 5, 5 days a week, and I just couldn't stand the humdrum. It just wasn't for me. And my former employer, Quinn Gamble, had an amusement company that I'd worked with when I was younger, kid, and maintenance was something I could do, and went back and talked to him, and he needed somebody that could repair and build and weld.
The Gambles, as my brother mentioned, weren't quite our next door neighbor, but they were just down the road from us, and I had a large paper route, and I happened to deliver their papers. And as such, the Gambles never married, and we kind of become their unofficial adopted sons, if you will. And as we merged, they had ponies, and with the ponies, Geary and I would feed them, take care of them, and we took them to festivals and local fairs, and that's kind of how we got started. And the Gambles eventually bought some heavier equipment, an Eli Scrambler and a Ferris wheel, and eventually into a full-fledged carnival. And we just kind of grew up with them as we helped each other. So that's kind of how we got involved in it.
The rocket-plane, what I had originally purchased was what's called a semi-portable, because it was a hard ride to put up and down. My wife and I both worked extra in them days. I was only making $2.35 an hour at the power plant to get $1,800 for deposits, so it took 2 years of extra work to get that. When and I discussed it, do you want another ride? Then I went home, and that's how Mom and Dad got involved. And they took another mortgage out on the house to get the down payment to pay for that. It was a roundup. 1964, now get this, the first pickup he bought new was an F-250. He put a camper on it. I was in and back and forth. We slept wherever, sometime in a truck seat, got local showers. I mean, it was just the way it was in the 60s.
Yeah, most people wouldn't realize the challenges of the business. The Mannington, West Virginia, sleeping in a steel possum belly, which is a unit that's underneath the trailer to haul the ride in. It's not too bad. When it gets cold, though, steel runs up through your body, and it's not the place to sleep. When we mentioned the rocket plane, that was the first portable ride this side of the Mississippi. Nobody else in the country had one. And I was out with this equipment trying to produce revenue. And he and I actually went, when we bought the new Superloop, we brought it up from Texas.
Crest, Texas.
Larson Manufacturing. The Superloops cost about $275,000, and for our size of show, that was like reaching for a Rolls Royce.
There was a guy from California who was a big hitter. He wanted a Superloop, and he seen that, and he wanted that ride, you know. His name was Lloyd Hilligoss. He was a big West Coast operator. I want that ride, I don't care. And Luke kept saying he had a pin where the rides were going, and he had the time he had to get them shipped out. That was a big thing, and we went down the spring and got ours. And so this whore goes, "Who's them Bates boys? Who the hell are they? I want that ride." Luke says, "Well, see all them pins up there? All them people owe me. Them's the only guys that paid me before they got there." He says, "I can't give you it. It's paid for. I'll never forget that the day I die." Old Hilligoy's mouth dropped open, and then what the hell was that? I'll never forget that. Was the funniest thing. "Who's them Bates boys?" He says. We always was looking to buy something new to come to the fairs. We went into New Orleans at a convention. My wife was saying, "Look, money's tight, this is that." She said, "Don't buy nothing." So we was first in line. We opened up the doors, went in the convention hall. There's this space shuttle sitting there. 5 minutes we bought that ride. 5 minutes we bought that.
We weren't going to buy nothing.
We were going to buy nothing. And she just about died. God, she was pissed. Oh, I bought that off of them. 15 years.
I don't remember when you
I called it right to spare, right here.
I
Remember
don't think you ever seen the one I made, man. I seen yours. It's very nice.
That was we created 2 units in the 80-82 because Gooding Amusement had been sold, and the fares become more available, and the Pew Amusement Company had bought them, and a lot of the locations they didn't want to work at the time, and so we just went right at it.
And during that process, when we decided, because of families wanting to be better balanced between the two of us, and it was our lawyers decided it would be good to establish 2 separate companies. And we did. In that short period of time, we actually, within a year, we actually doubled the amount of equipment that we have. Yeah. So both units had a place to be. We became the largest amusement companies in the state of Ohio. I flew over to England and visited Martin, and we imported a Quasar ride. A few of our friends in the industry had seen the Quasar, and they said, well, I'd like to have one. So we actually sold them that one and imported another one. And 15 rides later, we decided, well, maybe we should be building these rides in the United States. We started this event with the IX Center. The important thing is it helped expand our season with a bit of profit. But the challenges was with any late or early date, I don't think anybody realizes is what it takes to turn on today to go from 0 to 100 employees in the morning. That's a challenge that it's hard to comprehend what we do without the family support. It just couldn't happen.
There was an incident up in Geauga Lake. All of a sudden, it's like everything, politics got involved, and they came to find out that the portable amusement rides had always been inspected. Well, then when this accident happened, they found out the parks weren't. We hired a lobbyist. The Ohio Showman Association, I didn't belong, they said they would help us finance this. And so I joined. I thought that was very, very great of them, considering the involvement I had, so I joined them. But in the bill, we got a ride safety division. That was the best thing, one of the best things of the bill. We meet 3 times a year, and everything is brought to the table, and it's really worked in the state. In fact, we were leaders in that, and it's put direct input to the direction of the inspecting division.
Ohio passed the first rider responsibility in the United States, and as such, the majority of the states now have based our rider responsibility law on what we did here throughout the United States. That's been, I think, extremely beneficial to not only the state, but the industry throughout the United States. The OABA, where Geary focused on the state level, the OABA is a national organization involving all the United States and Canada. And it's a very strong organization that focuses on lobbying bills through the federal. We have a lobbyist in Washington, D.C. As Geary's guided the state of Ohio, we've guided the manufacturing end of the industry through OABA.
I'd like the other wheel off. That's the wheel that I own.
We have a maintenance that really goes year-round now. We have 20-some people full-time. We have rides that are very old, and I challenge anybody that don't know anything about the business to tell me which rides are old. When we refurbish a piece of equipment, it comes out of our shop brand new. And every ride we have, every year, something's touched on it, because it's equipment. It wears here and there, it breaks. I think, if anything, the quality of both of our companies speaks for itself, and the reputation that we've developed throughout the state gets us where we want to go, keeps us there. and that's part of it. And without the support that we have, I don't know how we would do it without the support. And the family is where it's at. Without the family support, it just couldn't happen.